On this week's episode, we have another edition of Retina Remake Review RRR or R Cube. We watched Roadhouse,
and then we watched Roadhouse,
and we're gonna also talk about pop culture news.
So it's been a while since we did one of these, but this week we do indeed have another Retina Remake Review.
Yes, we saw Roadhouse, the original, with the great late Patrick Swayze and Ben Gazzara, and among other people. And we saw the newest remake with Jake Gyllenhaal, and I think that's the only one I remember the name, right? Who else?
Yeah, there's
and of course the fighter, the first Conor McGregor.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's great on it.
He's something.
So we saw both of them. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. We're gonna talk about some other things we saw this week. Shows going away, seasons ending, and more additional revelations about Quiet on Set, the documentary about misbehaving and sexual harassment and abuses on the sets or with the cast of Nickelodeon shows. We're going to talk to this a little bit more later. Let's start with Roadhouse. You want to? I start talking about let's start to talk about the old one, of course.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you start. It was the first time you saw it, right?
Yeah, it was the first time I saw it. And it was fun. It was really fun. There were a lot of things that came across as comedic now that I don't think were meant to be comedic, just because it was a movie made for its time, and not all of those things has aged super well.
Like what?
But overall,
like a timed. I think that was comedic because of the time, and now it's not.
Yeah, well, okay, so one of the villains wears this like sleeveless denim, but it's all like tucked in, right? So he comes across as just looking really like, he just doesn't look very scary or like badass or anything like that at all. He looks funny. He's got this like big claw on his neck, and he's all like, I'm a bad guy. Some of the lines are a little cheesy, but again, it doesn't detract from the movie. It doesn't make it bad. There are things, it makes it more fun than I think maybe it was originally meant to be.
Yeah, if I may interject, that I think is he might look some bit of ridiculous.
Yeah, it just kind of looks
very little. I'm not saying it was a lot, right? But he was bad. He was really bad. Oh,
for sure.
Even his laugh, ha 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 ha. You know, in modern audiences, including you, might be contaminated by the modern portrayal of villains.
How dare you say I'm contaminated? No, and this is just like the costume didn't read as villainous. The costume read as somebody selling jewelry at a gas station.
Oh wow!
Didn't read as villain. So like things like that didn't age necessarily terribly well. But this is often the case with older movies, and it's fine. It's just an impression that I had that maybe viewers at the time wouldn't have had.
Yeah. Well, the original one is with the great late Patrick Swayze, and he's a handsome guy. He's not big, and they make fun of that in the time movie like several times. He's like quiet and classy and suave, and he gets things done by that. But of course, he uses his fists. Of course, Sam Elliott is on it too. Young, or is he young? Young Sam Elliott.
Who knows?
He looks younger. He's much younger. He's in his 40s, which I assume now he might be in his 70s, 80s.
Yeah. Most jarring of all, though, he doesn't have his mustache.
Yes.
Which you look at him and be like, I know this guy, but I've never seen him before.
Yeah, he's like a middle-aged cowboy, but like a more modern cowboy without the mustache, without the hat, long hair.
But he sounds exactly the same. I'm pretty sure he was born sounding like that. Like, the doctor delivered him and he was like, hey, Mom.
Yeah,
like,
he was like, wow, milk. Anyways, the premise of this one is this guy has a name Frank. He has a bar. Where is it? Missouri. Sorry. In Missouri, and he's looking, and the bar is a mess. and he's looking for
it's called the Double Deuce.
Double Deuce. He's looking for a bouncer or a chief of security to take care of the place, to class up the place. And he hears about the best in the biz, which is that was kind of fun. It's like how a bouncer, how cooler, that they call, right?
Yeah, he's cooler.
How is famous that everybody knows him.
Right, and everybody does.
That doesn't make sense.
He shows up at a new place and they're like, oh, Dalton, I've heard of you.
You know who he is?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's Dalton.
A famous bouncer, which kind of they fixed a little bit on the new movie, but again they expanded in ways that I don't know. It's different. But on this one, he's a bouncer on this place that is crowded, but he takes control of the place, and he do that with class and with being nice, as you mentioned.
Until it's time to not be nice.
Until it's time not to be nice. So the guy tempted him with a lot of money, so he moves from New York to Missouri to fix this place. A little backstory of him: he has a degree in philosophy from NYU, so he's sort of educated.
I think he's overeducated.
I mean, it's NYU. And there's philosophy, so anyways, enough.
I'd say it was practical, just that he knows a lot of stuff.
Sure.
Read a lot of things.
He's educated. He's but he uses his fists to get things done, like some Vikings say, like, you know.
Yeah.
We just saw Ghost, and there was a joke about it. You're not gonna. Anyways, you're gonna have to see.
You had to be there.
Yeah, Goats on Paramount Plus. Anyways, so and then he moves to the place, and then he starts fixing the place little by little. There's a local band with a blind guy, very diverse. There's girls that work at the bar. There's a doctor with which he gets involved.
Now, when you first meet this doctor, she's wearing glasses, so you might be tempted to say this is an ordinary-looking woman.
Yeah.
But don't worry, you see her later and she takes her glasses off, and then you realize, oh, she's a total smoke show.
Yeah.
So just be prepared for that little like bait and switch there.
Yeah. She has family in town. Her father owns the local hardware store. But of course, there's a rich guy in town. There's like the big boss of the small gangs, and he used money, power from generations to control the place. And Dalton somehow goes against him, and then they clash. There's some really fun, really cool, interesting characters. There's this old man, or Dalton rents his barn to live with.
Oh my gosh, that
guy's
guy's
so
great.
cool. Yeah.
Big beard, big overalls.
Yeah.
And when it's time to go, he's ready to go.
He sleeps on onesies like an old prospector.
Yeah.
It's cool. So all that together give us a really good, fun action movie with a simple story. Has like big explosions, big old time explosions.
Yeah, like real like practical effects.
Yeah.
On a large scale, which is fun.
There's
gratuitous
a Bigfoot
nudity
crashing to car dealership.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You get what you see on the poster, what you expect from a good fun action movie from the 80s. There's like this whole mystique behind Dalton. It's like, I had to kill the man by ripping his neck out. It's like wow. It's like, you know, and some stuff he just stalks and he gets things done, sometimes without punching people. Overall, Patrick Swayze is great on it. The tagline for the movie was, the time for dancing is over. Let's get dirty. Yeah. Because his previous movie was Dirty Dancing.
Yeah.
So it was fun. I actually enjoyed it more than I enjoyed the last time I saw, which was, I don't know, decades ago. It was a long time ago. You watched it and...
Yeah, it was fun. It's pretty much what he described. It's pretty much what you would expect from an 80s action movie starring Patrick Swayze. He's there and does his Swayze things. There's gratuitous nudity, spectacular action, big explosions, pretty straightforward storyline. Good guys win. We all go home happy.
Yeah. So Amazon MGM decided to remake the movie. Remake, it's not a reboot.
Yeah.
And this time they did with Jake Gyllenhaal. And let's talk a little bit about the differences, and then we talk about the what's special about it. Not spoiling. I mean, if you saw the first one, the remake is you know.
It follows it pretty closely, and in fact, I think everything that they updated, we almost kind of anticipated.
Yeah.
So
there's, you know, it's not really a spoiler, especially if you saw the original one. If you didn't, I mean, we just told the whole story now, and it's pretty simple. It's like this guy comes to town and help fix town. And there's a line on this new one that talks about how it's like a very cowboy thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a Clint Eastwood movie that he comes to town, saves the day.
It's a classic Western storyline.
Kick the gang butt and leaves. So it's very cowboy, but made in the 80s and now remade in the 2024. So first big differences. Jake Gyllenhaal is a handsome man, but he does not have Swayze's hair.
Does anybody have Swayze's hair?
Right.
That, I mean, it almost goes without saying.
Like, what else?
Yeah, so he doesn't have the hair. He's not a well-known, respected, cooler bouncer guy with a nicely tucked-in shirt.
But
he's an MMA fighter who's fallen from grace.
As famous MMA fighter.
Yeah. Oh, right. And I don't want to spoil anything.
Oh.
The owner of the Roadhouse, which in this case is just called the Roadhouse, is a girl named Frankie.
Yeah.
And she's a little bit more involved. In the old one, he just kind of like shows up and is like, hey, come clean up my bar.
She's more involved, you think?
She's a bit, I feel like we see more of her.
Yeah, I think it's because she has more cachet than that guy back in the 80s.
Maybe.
And also,
she's a really fun actress. We saw her in,
yeah.
What is the name of that series with Harrison Ford and
Unhinged? No, it's not it.
No.
Psychicked? Analyzed? It's something to do with analyst. Shrinked? Unshrinked?
I don't know. It's a really good one on Apple TV Plus.
Let's go back to it.
Jason Segel and Harrison Ford and this girl who is just delightful. Yeah, so it's a little bit grittier. Also in this one, like right away, the threat, instead of just being sort of like vague assortments of like lowlifes and criminals who show up, it's like a very specific gang. So like almost from the beginning, he's dealing with shrinking. We were close.
First season available on Apple Plus.
Excellent, even though I couldn't remember the name. So in this one, almost right away, they're dealing with like a very specific gang instead of just sort of like, oh, there's a bunch of lowlifes who hang out here. Like, he's more reluctant to come in. It's a little darker, a little grittier. Nary a boob to be seen. So it tries to take itself a little bit more seriously.
There's scenes we see Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor shirtless.
This is true. This is true.
Which is interesting because on Swayze's, he's never shirtless.
He is.
No. On that one?
For real?
Yeah, isn't that interesting? How
not even in that one whole.
How times change?
But they literally sleep with each other.
Well,
not literally sleep with each other.
Sure, but for sleeping, when they sleep, when they swim naked at the end, sure. But like when fighting, when every other moment, he's never shirtless.
Interesting.
Yeah, and we see naked woman, and this one is the inversion, is a change of status quo, you might say. Anyways. Yeah. But yeah, keep going. What are you saying?
Yeah. A little bit darker, grittier. Something we both kind of suspected that they were going to do the whole like sympathetic villain thing. I was surprised that they didn't. They kept the pretty straightforward, like obnoxiously like psychopathic bad guys, but our good guys were a little grittier, but still like good guys.
But they're kind of like goofballs, like Peter Magnussen, the son. He's kind of like a. He done comedy before. He does comedy, so he carries a little bit that comedic load with him, and of course Conor McGregor, it's his first acting gig. he's good. He's not bad, and
Mm-hmm.
he's so bizarre that it's borderline funny. But the main thing about the way villains are these days in this movie, they are not as sympathetic as what they did to Loki and many others.
Yeah.
But they
I felt like it was a
definitely
win.
but they definitely not as bad because
These guys were
listen
psychotic.
listen on the first one, what was the worst thing they did on this one?
In this one?
Yeah,
Wait, in the first one or the
on
new
the
one?
new one.
And the new one, they did like all the same stuff. They killed people.
Who they
They
killed?
tortured people. Oh, I don't remember.
Exactly, they don't kill anybody.
Are you sure about
Yeah,
that?
yeah. On the first one, on the original one, they blew up a hardware store. In this one, there's a bookstore. We think, oh, they're gonna blow up. They didn't. They take
They
the
burned it down though.
They didn't burn it.
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
It wasn't. It wasn't.
It wasn't as explosive.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
a over the top.
I feel
but
like the odds on
Yeah.
on the other one, they were much. Let me put it this way: there's a scene on the original that the big boss of the bad guys call his gang, and then he's talking to them. So what do you have? Oh, I did this, and the guy punches, and then the bad guy punched the crap out of his own guys. You know, which they tried to do something similar on the new one, but again, I didn't feel like I couldn't buy it that those guys were. You know, I don't know, maybe because of the actor.
That could be, and he did read as very funny, but like he read as funny while he was like beating people up and threatening death and all this other stuff. Like, but there was no moment where you think, oh man, these guys are just struggling against a system that's holding them down.
Not that.
Like
not
they
at that
were
level.
straight up bad
Yeah.
guys. Sometimes funny,
They were bad. They were bad.
but they were very bad people.
Yeah, but there
doing
was a
very
guy.
bad
There was
things.
to the point that there was a bad guy that was really nice. They were like fighting, and there's hey, it's really nice to see you again. And because the first thing that Jake Gyllenhaal does is he beat the crap out of those guys and take them to the hospital. So this guy creates like a sympathy with them. It's like, so there's like comedic moments in a different ways than the original. But what else?
I don't want to like spoil the whole thing, even though it's all like it is so similar to the first one. We both noticed some issues with the effects and the audio.
Yeah, they did use.
Stuff that seemed like weirdly messed up.
They did use. I can't say anything about the audio. We noticed some weird problems.
Yeah, like poorly done ADR or something like that.
Yeah, but there was definitely well, with the fight scenes they use some sort of CGI, and in some moments look like a video game. In the first fight, Dalton's character Jake Gyllenhaal fights a character portrayed by what's his name, Post Malone.
Yeah.
And that one looks really bad. The other ones look weird. It's very different, but it definitely feels like they try to drink from the source of Fast and Furious, and has like some elements of Fast and Furiousness on it. That I don't know. Maybe they want to do a franchise, which I don't know if is the case to do that when you're remaking something. Unless this was a prequel, like, you know, a story of Dalton before Dalton was Dalton, like the first one. And next one, he goes to a different town, and then there's the Roadhouse. And either way, this one takes place in Florida. Has another major difference. And yeah, it's fun. It's just different. Gyllenhaal is great at it, but Gyllenhaal is great at pretty much everything he does.
And I really do enjoy his style. The whole, like, he beats these guys up and then he takes them to the hospital and he's like, okay, look, you got a concussion. You really need to take care of that. And you're going to be okay. Like, it's like he takes such good care of them after he beats them up. He doesn't want to choose violence, but they chose violence, and so he destroyed them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it overall, I would say neither movie, like, you need to go out of your way to see. But if you do end up seeing them, they're pretty fun.
Yeah, it's just fun. There's also the Portuguese guy, I can't remember his name, and the Portuguese girl, Melchior. I can't remember her name, first name. Overall, it's fun, it's entertaining. I don't know if it survives by itself. You know what I mean? If it's
Yeah, like, I wouldn't go out of your way to see it.
Yeah,
unless you're like a huge Gyllenhaal fan or something.
I guess, yeah, it could be that. But it was fun. It's available on on Amazon Prime Video. Jake Gyllenhaal, Conor McGregor, they both great on it. It's a different take. Yeah, you should go watch it. It's good fun.
That's fine. Okay, we saw. Let's see. Where do you want to go next? We have some.
This week was the end of a regime. It was the regime of Larry David being an a-hole. See what I did?
I see what you did there, yeah.
Being an a-hole to all people.
Yeah.
The series finale of Curb Your Enthusiasm was aired on Max, HBO Max, whatever you can watch. And it culminated with the court procedure that it's not that we suspected. It was obvious.
Yeah.
And of course, I had the participation of one, I'm not going to say, but you know what I'm talking about. The guy that's like, what's the deal with it? Anyways, and they did the play they said they would do back, like Jerry Seinfeld was in a concert a while ago, and it's you didn't like the finale? I love the finale. Oh, okay, so me and Larry, I'm not gonna say, but we're gonna do something. You will see soon.
You did a great job of not telling who's in the finale.
Yeah, well, and there was like very similar with a lot of references and nods to Seinfeld. As a matter of fact, there's a character that talks about Seinfeld during the entire episode.
Yeah.
Overall, it was funny. It didn't quite feel, I don't know, maybe because they did that before on Seinfeld, but it didn't feel quite like a finale. It felt like one episode.
It did well, and I think it was really appropriate for the show. First of all, he's like ended it a few times before, maybe not officially,
right?
But there've been some like pretty decisive finale episodes.
The one that he goes to France.
Yeah,
that one I was like, okay.
I was like, all right, we're done.
I'm done with America, and you want to move to France.
But also, like this whole show, it would have been so weird if he had done something emotional or sincere or like nostalgic. That's not his thing. So I thought that was a very Larry way to end the show, to just be like, all right, I'm done. I don't know.
Yeah, even the technicality, let's call it that. It was very interesting, and someone said, "Hey, that's why you should done it." Anyways.
Yeah. So it was good. It was satisfying. It was the most viewed episode since season 10.
Yeah.
So whatever that means, it got over 1 million views.
It got a lot of views. It was funny as a sitcom. It was a 1 hour long episode, and right out of the gate, Larry gets to be Larry in situations that everybody gets to be Larry. It was like with traffic.
Yeah.
What was the other one?
The airplane.
The airplane. What?
Like using phones on the airplane.
Yes, phones on the airplane. Yeah. So, and that starts the episode. And if you watch the show, you should finish. It finished well. It's actually emotional because Richard Lewis was there all the time, and he passed away recently.
That did add a little.
Yeah, there's a video online with the moment after the cut when they get up to leave. And then I think Richard is the first one to say, wait, I need to say something. And then he expresses his love and appreciation to Larry, to everybody on the show. He treated me like a god here. He was the best friend. And then some of the other cast members talk too. And Larry just like, and leaves.
Yeah.
Anyways.
That's great.
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
The entire show is available on HBO Max. Oh, Max. Sorry.
Yeah. So I hadn't seen the show before we got married about 8 years ago. Actually, almost 9 years ago. Anyway, hadn't seen the show at all. So he showed it to me. And at first, I hated him. I could barely watch the show because he was so awful. But by the time we got a couple seasons... Yeah, by the time we got a couple seasons in, like... I really love the guy. I love his authenticity. He's not pretending anything. I've just really come to enjoy that. So either like I'm getting older and more jaded and just fed up with the world. I don't know what's up, but this was a great show. I highly recommend watching it. Yeah. And the finale they pulled off, I think one of that rare gem of like a perfect series finale.
Yeah.
So
it's even in a way, it's not like the finale of Veep that she died, right? No, she died. No, it's in the future. It's in the far future,
Yeah.
distant future. I guess even that one you could continue in between the finale and the, either way, it's they could totally come back for more. So in 5 years, Larry's like 80 plus, and let's do another one.
Oh my gosh.
And HBO would say sure.
Larry in an assisted
Jon
living
Stewart,
home.
they're just doing it, right? The Daily Show is back. The guy's like old and
That's
decrepit,
right.
and it's like, we
I
need
wouldn't say
you.
he's decrepit. But
We need you again, old
I know.
mommy. And he's like, okay, let's do it. Okay, anyways.
anyways.
If you have enthusiasm on HBO Max, you should check. Yeah.
Okay, we also saw the finale of The Regime.
This was an actual regime.
Yes. This is the one with Kate Winslet on... Oh, shoot. What service is this on?
It's on HBO Max. Yeah.
It's on HBO Max, yeah. So anyway, this is one with Kate Winslet. It's taking us through, like, this bizarre regime of a sort of generic...
Fictitious.
Middle European... Yeah, fictitious Middle European country and all those things. And I thought the ending was very interesting.
Yeah. It was... well, I'm not going to spoil it, this one at all.
Okay.
But the show was alright. It was fun. It was kind of weird. Hugh Grant pops at some
It
point.
was dark and twisted.
And there's it's so very interesting how there's like very not subtle references not only to Putin, that one is quite clear, but to Biden, especially on the last episode when was the second to last, I can't remember, when there's something is about to happen. I'm not gonna spoil. And then they accuse, they finally outspoke. They finally come out of their mouths to refer to the beloved prime minister, mental illness, right? I think that's the word they use. And then they said, no, you didn't say that. It's like, no, you didn't go there. You can't say that. She's a great person, really, really great person. And in my head, I keep seeing that, like the Biden administration, all the people that work with him, and know that he's incompetent, he's too old, he's borderline senile, but they don't say it. They say he's a great man. He's old. But he's loving. And it's like nobody would say, oh, he's too old. No, you didn't say that. No, you can't say that. You say the unsayable. So it was extra funny if you get the reference, if you understand that. It's like, oh, okay, they're talking about someone real.
But I think part of the strength of the show is like they've drawn on things that have happened over and over again throughout human history, like these leaders who come into power, bringing with them all their quirks and weird baggage and everything, and then once they're in a position of power, all that comes to light, and they just go a little bit crazy with the power and disconnected from their people and doing everything they can to hold on to power, and like the corruption and the excesses and the people who work under them who are just trying to stay alive but also like carve out their own little corner. All these things we've seen happen over and over and over again. And so like the references to Putin and to Biden, like this could be very applicable across many different administrations, many different times.
And and
it's just interesting to see it play out in this fictionalized world where it's like kind of funny, but also like, oh yeah, no, that tracks. It's a really interesting watch. Also, Kate Winslet acts her butt off.
Wow.
She's such a good actress.
Yeah.
And in this one, like you love her, and then you hate her, and then you laugh at her, and then you hate her some more, and then you kind of feel bad for her. And then you laugh again, like it's a whole journey. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it's but yeah, this whole thing is like in the world of politics. It's like everybody express their love, the supreme leader, the great Joe Biden or Putin, but everybody, and it's like throughout like the entire show, everybody's like in the borderline about to commit treason. They just lack the balls for it. They just lack the courage.
Gosh, yes.
But it finally happens. And no, it doesn't happen because of the politicians. It happens from external things that happen. And you're gonna see it. It's fun.
Yeah.
Kate Winslet is great. I'm not sure if they're gonna make more, but there's some things that remain kind of unrevealed, especially what happened to a certain little boy.
Yeah, that was weird.
But anyways,
this one story was like kind of going under the main plot, and then got bigger, and then just like dropped off. So I don't know.
But yeah, Kate Winslet on The Regime, the entire season or the entire show, it's available on HBO Max.
Okay.
Oh,
excuse me.
Wow, it's almost 2 a.m. here in Utah.
We also saw a follow-up to the Quiet on the Set documentary.
No. Let's stay with funny.
Oh, you wanna?
Let's stay with funny. Yeah, there
Before
we go.
we get dark again?
Well, let's stay with funny.
Okay, never mind.
So
forget what I just said.
We're gonna get back to
Okay.
the real nitty-gritty, the real serious business.
Yeah.
But this one is serious. It's about the law. Walsh's Law. That's another name of the show. The Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire got a new show. It's called Judged by Matt Walsh.
Yeah.
And it's basically what they call the kind of
It's a
show.
courtroom drama.
Courtroom drama?
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Courtroom
reality.
Yeah, but it's more like reality.
Basically, it's the same format as like Judge Judy and all of those.
Yeah, just
except
Raw
it's
and so many other.
Yeah, except it's like Matt Walsh, who's the judge. But it's the same idea. Where
Judge Reynold had one, but it was fictitious,
Are you
right?
kidding?
No, it was. What was it? Arrested Development. It was. There was a show that Judge Reynold had one because his name was Judge. Anyways,
that'd be really fun. Anyways, the same premise here. People come with like this is like civil small claim stuff. They've agreed, to abide by whatever judgment match. So he's basically a mediator type thing, and with a courtroom and a bailiff who is really going above and beyond. He's doing so much for this show, and it's hilarious.
It's funny. Matt is a very peculiar person, and he doesn't hold back.
He doesn't.
And the problem so far, they're being very weird and out of the.
They did a great job picking the cases for the show.
Because and it's really funny. It's I mean, if you want to get a laugh, get some laughs.
Yeah.
Judged by Matt Walsh is available on Daily Wire Plus, among other some really good shows. We're not going to talk more about it because the show is basically it. He's judging people.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. If you want to watch a deeply judgmental person judge other people who have asked him to judge them.
With crazy problems.
Yeah.
And some people that are like borderline normal. Anyways, judged by Matt Walsh.
And again, the bailiff.
The bailiff is
bailiff.
funny, yeah. At the end of the first episode, he's polishing his
the gavel.
His gavel.
Yeah.
It's like, again.
Yeah.
Anyways, Judged by Matt Walsh is available on Daily Wire Plus. If you want to get a laugh, you should check it. Yeah.
Okay, now we'll talk about the follow-up episode to the Quiet on the Set documentary. So again, this is the documentary about Dan Schneider's kids shows on Nickelodeon in the 90s, like this golden age of children's entertainment, and all the really dark and tragic stuff that was happening on and off the set, to cast members, to writers, and all the rest. So
at the end of the show, if you watch or if you follow entertainment news, it was revealed that Drake, what's his name?
Drake Bell
was abused by one of the cast and part of the crew. One person, but he was on air. He was on screen acting, but he was also a coach, so he was casting crew. So he was abused by that guy, and he went to court, and the guy was sentenced, but there was a lot of celebrities supporting him, supporting the criminal.
Yeah.
And the criminal ended up getting a job at Disney.
Yeah.
So
like The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, like basically the same job with kids the same age. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was so
bad. It was there was all over the news, people showing support or being reviewed that showed support to the bad guy, or it was like pissed about what happened to Drake, and people that were working on those shows were asked about it. It was like all over the news for the last couple of days. So they produced a follow-up episode where they talked to Drake a little bit more, and they talked to some cast members about their experience, not only on the set of the Nickelodeon shows, but how it's life after this revelation, this documentary.
Yeah, it's a great addition to it because they were able to go back to these same people and talk to them about what their life has been like or what's changed or all the rest since the documentary aired, which was especially interesting for Drake Bell because, he came out with some deeply personal things. And he was able to talk about, his relationship with his parents and, but also people are able to share with him like how important it's been for them to hear his story and all the rest. So it's a really, I thought it was a very good follow-up and definitely worth watching. I don't know that we learned anything new so much as just kind of like put a stamp on, I guess, the documentary.
Yeah. And it's actually an interesting way to develop the product of the story because it impacted society at some level, and on the age of internet, that's the news cycle is is much faster than it used to be. It's a nice segue and a nice follow up on because everybody was talking about the documentary after aired, and now they had the chance to see the impact on these people's lives, and maybe work for the future that things like that will not happen again.
Yeah, so definitely if you watch the documentary, definitely go back and watch this. If you haven't watched the documentary, not everybody should. I think every parent should. But it's definitely worth watching. It's really important.
Yeah.
We also, this isn't totally not related to the documentary itself,
but it is related.
But kind of on the same subject.
Yeah. After it was aired, Frank Muniz had some things to say about the relationship, how it's set, and well.
Right, so around the same time, he was a teenager on Malcolm in the Middle, which is not on Nickelodeon, but was still a kid in the industry at about the same time. Hugely popular show. And he was absent for 2 episodes because his character was absent for 2 episodes because the actor walked off the set in protest to some of the stuff that was happening. He said he himself wasn't involved in anything terrible, but he could see what was happening, and he said he was, quote, so mortified by seeing people afraid to stand up for themselves that it was worth it, end quote, to him, even if he was never going to be going back. It was worth it to him to walk out of it. And obviously they were able to bring him back and things worked out. But he also said he would never let his kid go into the business because he knows so many people close to him who had such terrible experiences.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's an industry notorious for abusing people of all ages, and with kids, they are the most innocent, the most they can protect themselves. It's sad, but a lot of people in the industry take advantage of them in a way or another. And
it's been like that from the beginning, and it's just so sad that it continues. So, all right, let's move on and talk about happier things like CinemaCon.
Yes, NATO has got together once again for CinemaCon. And NATO.
The National Association of
Theater Owners.
Right.
Yes, not the North Atlantic Treaty Organization.
Yeah, totally different. Totally different. I'll tell you what, the headlines are still very confusing.
Yeah, they make as much money, maybe more money than NATO. I think NATO doesn't make any money. They just get money. But this NATO makes a lot of money. And once a year, the members get together. And they get presentations from the big studios and medium studios of what's coming to theaters, and because the theater owners are the ones that are gonna, it's like the end of the line, so it has to charm them into, hey, give me a spot this summer on IMAX, and they're the ones who decide. So they do this to charm the socks of the theater owners. So there's a lot of news coming from there, a lot of new footage, announcements, and some of the big ones was like Warner Brothers showed footage of this new documentary called Super/Man about the life of the great late Christopher Reeve, and what else to say, right?
Yeah, I look forward to this documentary.
Yeah, it sounds great. So they showed that. What else they showed?
Let's see. Warner Brothers flexed quite a filmmaker lineup with George Miller, Tim Burton, and Bong Joon-ho.
Yeah, George Miller with the new Furiosa, the show additional footage. Tim Burton with the new Beetlejuice. And Bong Joon-ho, he has a new sci-fi? He was the guy that made Parasite.
Yeah.
He's doing a sci-fi with the Vampire Edward. I can't remember his name. Jack? No. The Vampire Edward. You know his name.
Yep. But you said it now. The Batman, the new or most recent Batman.
Yeah,
It's
Vampire
gone.
Edward.
Cedric Diggory. I can only think of his characters.
Cedric.
Oh my gosh. Oh, this is embarrassing.
Diamond guy.
Yeah.
Diamond guy.
Edward and Tenet.
Tenet.
Oh my gosh. I can't. It's gone. It's gone.
It's not Amanda Siegfried.
Oh, it's his name.
Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson. Whoa.
You're the girl. You should remember.
You know what? I was never into him.
Okay. They show footage, and this one is available everywhere, of the new Joker, Folie à Deux, with Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga. And it's like, I don't know. It gives me some weird feelings. Because they straight up changed the origin of Harley. She's not a doctor. She's another crazy person there. And it seems like he's locked up, and he doesn't look like the Joker. I mean, there's like glimpses that you see, but he doesn't look like the Joker. It looks like he's started makeup. He's like another crazy person in prison there. It looks like he went to the Joker at the end of the movie, and I thought they would catch from there, right? It doesn't look like it. Looks like he went back to,
Yeah.
But again, in their reality, that might be what they want to do to the Joker. I don't know.
Yeah.
They didn't convince me yet. Remains to be seen.
Mm-hmm. It looks. I think it looks like an interesting movie, but
it's a musical.
Yes. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting, but it's definitely not the Joker and Harley Quinn. This is like a very different take. Like maybe they were a jumping off point.
It feels like they're gonna do from the trailer. It feels like they're gonna do like cutesy, dark romance.
Maybe.
Maybe a bad romance. Oh. Anyways, what else from CinemaCon?
A Michael Jackson biopic.
Yes, they show footage from this new movie that will have 30 songs from the King of Pop.
Yeah, that tracks. We've also got a new trailer, a first trailer for Ballerina.
Yeah.
The John Wick spinoff.
In the world of John Wick. And if you're expecting to see John Wick, you might.
Oh, you might?
At the end of the trailer.
Oh, okay.
We see Keanu Reeves. But again, it could be a prequel to the last John Wick. Anyways.
Yeah, mostly apparently it's Ana de Armas training assassins.
Yeah.
That's cool. That sounds great.
Yeah, she did great on the James Bond. She has like a very, very tiny little participation, but she kicks some butt.
She's a very tiny little person.
Yeah, and she kicks some butt. So I was like, hey.
She does. Action is good for her. What was that one with Chris Evans?
Ghosted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think her action scenes, she's very good at it.
Yeah.
Okay, Nia DaCosta.
She's a very good Marilyn too.
Oh no, that movie was terrible. That movie was terrible. I have yet to see a decent portrayal of Marilyn Monroe.
You didn't think not Vanessa Williams. What's her name? Heath Ledger's Vanessa Williams,
I
right?
don't know.
We saw like A Weekend with Mary. Yeah. You didn't like that one?
Because they all show us like, oh my gosh, I'm so helpless and dumb and weak and I don't know what to do. You should sexually exploit me. But then I see clips of her in her movies, and she's like smart and witty and
acting.
Like
acting.
I don't know. I just think the woman deserves better.
Okay.
And he's like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do with my boobs.
Maybe that's what she.
I just
maybe
feel like there was more going on
maybe,
there.
No, maybe she was
and they
like
just
that.
Fetishize her.
Maybe she was exactly like that, playing the Hollywood people that wanted that. And then she got to the top by using that to her own benefit.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I just feel like...
Let's come back to the present.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay, also from CinemaCon, Nia DaCosta is in talks to do the second of the 28 Years Later trilogy.
Yeah, so they're going to do... I guess they're going to do a trilogy now, which is interesting. Right, the first two were good. Now they're going for a trilogy. I'm
Okay.
not very hopeful for this one. Here, the Costa. She wrote and directed the Marvels. So
Oh no.
her resume is like, oh gee. Okay, anyways, but some people wants to pay her to do some yeah.
Okay. Well.
She would direct the second. The first one would be directed by gosh, I forgot his name now. The creative director of the original
We
one.
need to just like have a list of names because we do this every episode.
I know.
Where I'm like, I got it. Okay, ready to go. And then we start talking names.
I just had his name. I just had his name. It's some of the stuff that you don't forget. But I mean, we're talking about
that's what I'm saying. Like,
Pattinson.
this is
You
why we
talk
need
about
to-
Pattinson, and I forget
know.
everything because he's unforgettable, and we
Yeah.
forgot him.
Well, to be fair, we remembered his roles, his major roles, or his most famous
His
roles.
major roles was Cedric.
Well, that was like his breakout. That was his first big one.
Oh, was it?
And
Okay,
Cedric
I don't
Diggory
know.
was very important. Maybe not a lot of screen time, but he's very important in the story. Anyways, Blumhouse is making a new Blair Witch project.
Danny Boyle.
This guy's so excited.
Just Danny Boyle. Just
Oh,
say.
Danny Boyle. Okay.
Yeah, he's back for the Disney
Cool.
trilogy, and he's gonna direct the first one. Okay.
Awesome. Whew. Problem solved. Okay, so yeah, Blumhouse is making another Blair Witch project.
Why?
Great question. I know you're such a big fan of the first one.
I mean, the first one was a con, and then on the second one, was like it was a pseudo fake documentary. The first one was I found footage of these kids that died, and then in the second one they made fiction, and I was like, I'm not even gonna watch some. Anyways,
Okay. Nosferatu. There's first footage showing off Bill Skarsgård in the title role.
well, Bill Skarsgård lately he's doing the kind of weird creatures, right? He did It. He's gonna do The Crow, and now he's gonna do this
Nosferatu.
one. Nosferatu.
I still need to see the original. That's one of those like iconic old movies that I haven't seen. Peter Dinklage is joining the Wicked cast as Dr. Dillamond. I don't know who that is, but Peter Dinklage is a great actor, so cool. I think that's everything we've got from CinemaCon. But another big film festival is coming. Does CinemaCon count as a film festival?
No. It's like
okay.
a promotion
Yeah.
con, like a exhibitors con.
Okay, well, another major event for film is coming up in about a month.
Well, con is a festival.
Right.
Con
okay.
is.
Yes.
Con, CinemaCon.
But I can't say another. Whatever. The Cannes Film Festival is coming up in about a month. We've already heard that George Lucas is going to receive an honorary Palme d'Or.
Well deserved for his work for the movies he made, Star Wars and the other movies, Indiana Jones and so many others. But his work to develop the industry, he made things that changed the industry forever. The way,
THX,
the way,
ILM.
in the way they deal with productions and rights and Anyways, well deserved.
Yes, Francis Ford Coppola will be premiering Megalopolis.
Yeah, this is a awaited new movie with Adam Driver and many others.
Yeah. Okay, you're gonna want to be sitting down for this. If you're driving, pull over. Bluey is ending.
Sort of. There's a big episode coming, and people are already excited and sad and devastated that it'll be the end of the show.
Because they're selling their house. This is the word on the street. To be fair, I haven't done as much digging on this as I should have, but they're selling their house.
Mm-hmm.
And I was surprised at how emotional I got over that.
Maybe they moving. I don't know, to America.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
No, that would not be as fun or charming. No, they need to stay in Australia. Yeah, so that's wrapping up. Sometime soon there's going to be a mega episode. Most of the episodes are between are around 7 minutes. This is going to be a 28-minute episode. So buckle up. This is one, I think I'm going to try to purchase these to have our own copy so that we don't have to rely on streaming on Disney carrying these forever and always, because it's such a great show. It's so sweet. I'm not too upset about it ending because I talk all the time about how shows should end while they're ahead. If they don't have more stories to tell, they should just quit while they're ahead and let us enjoy such an incredible show. and reruns or rewatches or whatever and all that. But yeah, just brace yourself. Bluey is coming to an end. So that's it for that.
Yeah, and yeah, it's a fun show. And again, yeah, you're right. It's better to end on a high note than stay on forever. Like, what's that stupid show? What's it called?
There's so many.
There's like those moose-looking kids.
Arthur?
Arthur. That started well, but it's like lately it's like they're going woke and there's like all sorts of terrible stuff for kids.
That show's been on for almost 30 years.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
That's
what I'm saying. The values they had in the beginning have been lost and destroyed and corrupted, and they like, you know, accepting all sorts of known values. You know, it's like, no, stick to your values. And when someone comes and says, like, hey, you know what, it would be a great idea. It's like, no. No modernizing adapting for modern audiences. No, our values are this, not gonna change. The Japanese always did that. They always do that. But anyway, so if Bluey is over, fine. We can rewatch old.
It's a very rewatchable
old
show.
Shows.
Yeah,
and you know, there's so many.
The episodes are short, sweet.
People still watch Jack Rogers. No.
What, Mr. Rogers?
Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. You know, one cool thing, we started the show or the episode by talking about how horribly children are treated and exploited in Hollywood. The kids who do the voices on Bluey are kept secret. They're not in the credits. They're not on IMDb.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they're, and I mean, it's voice acting, so it's definitely very different. It's probably very different from being on set all the time with people, but efforts have been taken to protect these kids from like the crazy fame and popularity.
Yeah,
and some of the weird stuff that goes on around that.
Wouldn't that hurt them? Like, they have these amazing talents and these amazing jobs. Wouldn't that hurt them by hiding their credits?
I mean, maybe when they're older, if they want to talk about it. I don't know. Because they're such little kids, too.
I mean, if anything, I think it's worth it. I think it's good that they're protecting them.
Yeah. I mean, well, and think about how many times in that documentary did people not do something or did not speak up for the sake of their kid's career. So I feel like yeah, it might not look great on a resume or something, but for now, it's keeping these kids safe and letting them be kids. That's definitely a fair trade-off.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just one more reason to love Bluey.
Anyways, this past week was Star Trek Day, or meaning
that's right, First Contact Day.
The day that Zephyr Cochrane traveled in his
the Phoenix
warp drive. Phoenix, his warp drive, amazing machine, and caught the attention of aliens from the planet Vulcan. And mankind moves from stage, what they call it? Stage 1? No. Pre-warp. Moved from pre-warp to warp.
Yeah.
And, you know, Starfleet and the United Federations, all that. Basically started through that. But also this week, we had a testicular eclipse.
If only.
Where the sun was covered. But anyways, so that was a solar, right? Not annular. A solar eclipse.
A total solar eclipse.
Total solar eclipse. Some places got dark and people saw that.
Yeah, and this one was particularly exciting because totality was experienced by people like across North America, which is pretty exciting. These happen all the time, but most of the time it's just like over the ocean where like nobody is. But this one, anyway. So this is very exciting. Lots of news about it. Lots of people experiencing stuff, including a Mexican news station that definitely messed up their footage. Got caught with their pants down, you might say.
Yeah, so it was a fail on the vetting system of the network. So people sent footage from, we saw the eclipse here, we saw the eclipse here. So so eclipse from different areas, and you know, people send footage to the networks. It happens in everywhere with every subject. So this guy showed his testicles, his balls, blocking the sun.
Oh my gosh.
And then he sent title testicular eclipse. And the network, I guess, didn't vet it.
Just threw that into the little slideshow. Oh my gosh.
Arriba. That was in Mexico, so. Yeah. So
that's several layers of people being terrible.
On that note, we gonna finish this episode this week with, click, like, subscribe, share with your friends, with random people at the streets. We come back next week with a lot of cool stuff. There's a new Fallout show. There is, I don't know if it's promising, but it's definitely, I'm curious about. The universe of the game is very vast, very interesting, and have really cool. It has a really cool story. So let's see if it can adapt well. Again, it's Amazon. They botched it. Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
Could it be worse than Lord of the Rings? Could it be worse than Rings of Power? I don't know.
I mean, if you measure quality of the original and what they did on it can be worse, because the quality of the Lord of the Rings and the crap they did, it's the amount that is almost unmeasurable. But anyways, we come back with more pop culture news, entertainment. We're gonna see the new Ungentleman League of whatever new guy.
League of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Yeah, the new Guy Ritchie movie and other things to share. So meanwhile, may the force be with you.
Live long and prosper.
Bye.
Bye.